Welcome back, eager beavers. I am APH. For those joining for the first time, I hope you guys are having an amazing day and keeping safe, and thanks for joining as we continue our excellent adventure here. Now, kind of getting going here, we got the chance to extend our little bit of green earth with this gem right here. This is the way station. It is our personal method for getting scrap metal. It is complete, ready to go, and delivering all the scrap over to the House of 8. We do have a little bit of a problem. I believe that the water is on the wrong side. We're going to have to move it up to the island this episode, but we're going to wait for water to kind of make its way down here, and then we're going to take a look and judge and see if I'm right, because I think that the water is going to stop in this little channel way, but we'll come back and visit this a little bit later. We have a tour of our city to kind of proceed with, to show where we left off in the last episode and where we're going in this episode. So starting with our Maple Grove, we added a little bit of a platform for our paper production. Now, books is a thing that we're going to be getting into, but not in this episode. We're going to repurpose this spot and set down the groundwork to do paper production maybe a little further down the line, to the right, that is. And we'll get back to this after we finish our tour. So kind of moving up the aqueduct, I guess we could move around this way. As we move around this way, we have our housing complex, and it looks phenomenal. So far, we've only got the houses done, and we've only got the first two of our tributes done. The walkway on the front is ready to be removed. The houses are ready to be removed down below. It came along, and it's very much ready for us to kind of do the next step in this zone. Now, from there, we're going to proceed around the corner. Now, the House of H has just been working on the powertrain side of the aqueduct, and we follow the aqueduct up, and then we get to our paper production right here. Now, I have paused this as it's important, but it's going to take metal, and it's going to take precious power that we don't have. So we pause that for the time being, and that leads us up into Ren. And Ren, they did complete this section of the breakwater, and we're going to be creating a section right here as well. We plotted it out in the last episode, but it's probably going to be paused while we start setting up a district to kind of make the leap over to this island up here. That's going to be within the next couple episodes. We're going to make a thing where we get up to this, and then we kind of proceed over to the water source. We're getting close here, guys. We're getting close. So that's going to be a thing shortly here. As for wall, it is I believe because it's so far over into the corner that we're running into some issues with them getting some supplies. They're missing just a little bit of gears and just a little bit of planks to get that last little bit completed. And that will be a bakery on the left, and what just saw the platform for the actual grist mill with the power wheel there. And that kind of leads us back to Padnos, where they've just kind of been helping where they can. And they did get a little bit of love with this little gem, and it looks really good. We're going to remove the plowed soil underneath it just to kind of bring it together. We can start that now. And yeah, look at that. That looks really good. That campfire is amazing looking. And that brings us back to Warehouse 13. And yes, it is finally named Warehouse 13. So now you guys, you don't have to be like it's not named. Let's get rid of these houses and force everybody up to the top. And let's get rid of the walkway. And I've got to be careful here not to get rid of the section underneath it. Oh, that looks really good. And we're not going to worry about the back until we get a plank production under control. And plank production is kind of the theme of this episode. Now, getting going here, now that we're ready to start our production here, let's detonate some dynamite. Let's get another plot of dynamite set in place here. And I think we got one more to go past this. Wow, that was weird. A little bit of lag. All right, so that one's ready to go. And then we've got this one to explode. And we've got this one to explode. Oh, that was less dramatic because the dynamite logo was covering it up. We're going to replace this one so we can knock this down one more stage. And then for this, we won't get to this until we build the walkways on both sides. And as long as we're over here, we're going to be placing some engines and some lumber mills. So let's start right here by getting rid of, it should be about 5 wide. And then we'll do this right here. Once these trees are gone, we're going to come back and revisit this, and then we're going to build a platform up. So that brings us over to this corner center of the House of H, where these builders have not really been doing their fullest. And I said we were going to expand out the lumber mill a while ago. So let's break the pathway there. Let's get our storage, our small warehouse down here and here. And then we're going to get our lumber mills up on top. All right, let's plot that. Let's get these. And this is all ready to go once we replace those sections of road. But I want to have a chance to get the warehouse configured before we do that. From there, we're going to head up here to Padnos. Now, this area is going to get an engine as well as a couple lumber mills as well. So we're going to remove these trees. And as soon as the trees are removed, we're going to remove the staircase. And then we're going to start placing in our platform here. I do want to head over to Maple Grove momentarily, but I think something more important is going to happen over here. What we need over here is a couple of breeding pods so that I don't need to continuously send beavers over here. So I'm hoping that 3 of them is enough, and then we're going to stop the production of the wall. And this is going to allow us to maybe do a little bit of a transition here, because we need to, as I said, we need to get this area set up for doing a new colony. So I think it's too high to start with, and this will be where the new district center is. From there, we're going to create a pathway down, something like that. Another 3 high there, a 2 high right here, as soon as it decides to let me place it. And then the rest of this should just be 1 highs all the way across to this walkway. And then we'll get our wooden stairs in here. This will be the path leading down to where we're going to have a farm. There'll probably be 2 farms in total and a forester down here in order to get some trees. On this side, we are going to need some water. So we're just going to create our 3 wide as we do, and then bring it up to the right height. We're going to let them build this, and then we're going to revisit. That leads us over to Maple Grove. Now, the procedure here in Maple Grove is going to be kind of the same as what we've been doing, where we do a spot for a generator, and we just need to do something that looks about like this. And then we're going to bring it up to the right height. So just something like this. And what we're going to do to prevent the beavers from being silly is we're going to put our bend in here the way that we want it. High power shaft right here. And we're going to place our road kind of on the adjacent side. This will be our first engine that we kind of have planned. And it may be the first engine that goes up other than the one that we already have. Once this builds, then we're going to repurpose this section right here for doing plank production in the future. This area right here, what we can do is we can add in 2 grills, and that will allow us to remove this grill and this forester in the future. What we could do is we could remove the forester right now, and then we'll bring you back when some things have had a chance to get caught up. All right, I was having a swing around the area, and sure enough, the water's coming down the backside here, and then it's filling up this channel, and you can see the height where it's stopping. So the water pumps here are never going to get submerged. So we're going to remove them, and we're going to move them onto the island side. And we're just going to go with 1 right here. And then on the back side over here, I'm thinking that we do 1 right here and then 1 this way. And that will kind of keep them all nice and close together, nice and tight looking, that is. Now, I did have a chance to take a look, and I see that we had production. Yeah, we've got 81 metal scrap already. And I saw the number going down. That means that they're already sending it over to the House of H. All right, I was swinging by the House of H, and they finished their work on the lumber mill, and I gotta say it looks pretty good. I think workers are still on their way over, as I hadn't connected the roads yet or configured the warehouse, but that's all configured and ready to go. And so they should be getting started. Now, the next step for the House of H is we're gonna flip around by the actual distribution center, and we're gonna place an engine right in here. So it will require us to create a 3 high all the way up to the top there, and then we're going to create a walkway. We do need a high power pass in order to get it kind of piped up. And then on this side over here, we're going to want to have the power connect. So we're just going to bring something around that looks about like this. We will need some T connectors. Let's get it turned around the right direction. So I'm thinking this is what we need for power connectors, that is. Let's get these all connected up, get this one connected, and then this one. And what will happen is as they build that, we're going to go ahead and connect it here, hopefully after the drought starts, and hopefully have this engine up and going fairly soon so that we can get rid of some of these power wheels and maybe make it so that our production during the time of the drought is a little bit more efficient. All right, so over in warehouse 13, they're ready for us to start the epic journey up here too. So we're going to start lifting this up to the top, same as we did over in Maple Grove. We're going to create our bend on the corner where we want it, and then we're going to get our high power pass kind of going right next to it. We will be placing the road on the adjacent side where they're going to bring the lumber in. On this side, I don't know what we're going to do kind of going forward, but I'm just going to place this platform here as kind of a reminder as to where we're going to go with things, and we're going to give them a chance to get that built up before we proceed, because it may take them a little bit of time because planks are kind of a little bit of an issue. All right, taking a quick venture over to Padnos. They are ready over here, and we're going to wait for this last beaver to kind of vacate, and then we're going to get rid of this, that way not to strand any beavers, and then we're going to extend out our platform. And on this side right here, I think we need those two, and then the rest should be triple or double height. Yeah, double high. Over to there, I'm thinking that this is one too many, and we're gonna kind of do something similar here where we do a road here, and then on this side we're gonna do our 90-degree bend right there in a high power pass right here. This area is not as important as it's not powering anything at the moment, so I'm gonna go ahead and break this right now, and then we're gonna place our T connector somewhere in here. It's probably not real important where. We're gonna need a T connector as well, so I'm gonna go ahead and break this, and I'm going to place the T connector now so that as they're building, they can just get that all up and going. And then as this platform and these get done, we'll go ahead and revisit this and kind of do the next thing. And wow, they're just ripping that apart as they get going. They just dropped this last little bit of dynamite here. Let's go ahead and flatten this section out. Ooh, now we are seeing that this area is becoming a little less fertile as we're doing that, but that's okay. It's going to be filled back up with water later, and that should fix itself. They finally finished this section over here in Maple Grove. So we're going to get rid of this pathway right here, and we're going to get rid of this pathway right there. This is going to be the entryway to our storage, and like normal, we just want to break those paths to kind of keep them from filling up the storage. We're going to start with our 4 storage just like we did on the one in the House of H. And then up top, we're just going to place our 4 lumber mills. And this will kind of get us going here. We will be placing our power generator, our engine that is, right here. And I think I'm off by, yeah, it's just off by a placement there. And then the last part of what we need over here is we will need a spot for power to come across. So just one right there. And then we're going to need our walkways up. And we will be placing the road here. And we won't be placing the road on this way so we don't reconnect the pathway. But we will be placing our walkway up, and we'll be placing the pathway up top just to kind of get it solidified. So it's going to take them a little bit of time to build this. The good news is we have all the gears over here and all the metal. So they just have to bring it over and get it constructed. I'm going to go ahead and prioritize this up to the high priority just to make it happen. Once this gets built, we can get rid of the 2 lumber mills that are here. One's kind of tucked away here in the middle, and then the other's tucked away over there in the back. We can transition those 4 workers into 4 of the workers up here, and then I think we're just shy of 1 person for Maple Grove to run the engine, but I mean, that's a pretty good transition. We're going to pick up 4 lumber mills out of 4 job sites, and then we just have to have one actual production of power to make it kind of come together. And that should lead us over to the House of H. I think they're ready for us over here. Yeah, look at this. Now, it's going to be just like a hot moment to replace this with a T, and maybe we should have did it a little bit earlier. Let's get that in place, and let's get our engine plotted out here. And now that that's plotted, I think that these guys, because we've got metal block production now, we're up to 73 from the 40 we started at. So we've produced quite a bit, and we've got gears. I think we have gear production over here. Yeah, we have gear production over here. So they should have everything that it takes to build this engine as well. That brings us over to here. This area is plotted out and ready ready to go. We're going to again get an engine right here. And then we're going to, this one's going to be a little bit tricky because I don't want to break the path as it leads up to the water. And that's going to be pretty important. So I'm going to have to monitor this as they do the building, but we're going to do the same thing that we've done in all the other zones so far, where we do warehouse, 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 and warehouse. And then up on top, we're going to be getting our lumber mills, and we're just going to go with our 2x2 pattern there. We'll need a walkway on this side, but as long as I can wait, I'm going to wait on this one so I don't have to worry about trying to configure all of them. And then we just need our pathway up on our end here. Yeah, I'm liking this. And then we need our pathway up on this side, and then this one should get going. I mean, they should have everything over here that it takes to build this, with the exception of the metal blocks. And now that the drought started, we should be able to get metal blocks ported over, as the distribution center is a little bit underwater, but we'll bring you back when this is all built up. So I was having a look around the map, and look, they finally finished the grist mill and the bakery over here in Wall. It looks phenomenal. This looks like a kind of a riverside bistro, maybe looking out over the reservoir. I'm liking it. And now food over here, I don't see any angry icons that people are hungry, so I think we're good to go over here. Now I did keep the carousel paused just so I didn't have to micromanage it. The hope is that within the next couple episodes, it will be able to keep the carousel going year round. Excellent. Liking what I'm seeing over here. The farm, I did have to make an adjustment to it as it was set to harvesting instead of planting. And now that it's set to planting, look at that. The whole area is nice and green. Looks really good. And then we should be off to the next area. All right. So they're finishing the last little bit of gear right here. And with that, we're ready to connect this up. Check this out. We've got our next engine done. We've got our next lumber production done. And with this, we're going to be ready to shift around some people. So we're going to go ahead and pause the wheel over here. Let's try that again. We're going to pause the lumber mill. We've got just a plank in there. You know what? Only one plank is good enough that I can get rid of that and get rid of this. This will allow us to kind of raise the wall up the rest of the way to the adjacent height. So we're just going to bring those levees right up to the top, like the surrounding area. And then we're going to place the same sort of a topper on there that we've had. And then what I did notice is this pathway right here, we can extend it out so that they can help from this way as well. And then that should allow us to get rid of this one back here. Now we do have 8 planks back here, so I'm going to go ahead and pause this, and the wheel itself we can get rid of. We'll get rid of this lumber mill once the planks in there are empty, because we're going to be using quite a few of them. And with that, we should be okay to start sending plank production out of Maple Grove and kind of have it helping elsewhere. And I just saw the engine kick on up here. Look at that. That is engine 2 down and going for the episode. So we've got a total of an additional 4 lumber mills, and we've replaced 2 lumber mills. Better lumber production. Our lumber production is finally up around a 300 mark. This area right here, we're just waiting on metal to come over from House of H, and then over on our section over here, we're ready to place our generator. Now, what I did figure out is if I look at the placement here, if I look at the path, they're going to come over and nab the gears, and they're going to nab the metal as it's being produced to build this. That only leaves us getting power over to this area. Now, I am thinking that this is a temporary thing, and we will be placing lumber here in the future, but I want this power to be directed over a little bit more than I want that extra lumber production. So we're just going to create a pathway over. I'm going to get rid of my mistake real quick, and then we're just going to connect the power up here as well. I think we can dead end it right there, and right here we just need a bend, but right here we're going to want a T connector in order to kind of justify for the future with a little bit of a pathway there, and then a pathway leading this way. I think that this is a good spot to call this episode, as we've got kind of a little bit of a construction going forward. It was a 27-day drought. We're about 2 days in, and well, we've made some big progress, and I'd like to thank you guys for joining, and we will see you in the next episode, where we're going to continue our production as well as get that next foothold for that next district going. Thank you guys. See you in the next episode.